Some people might prefer to walk than get a bus. It was very common when I was supporting young people when they were going to college or going to school. So some of these reasons might be relating to vestibular. When we are travelling on a bus or in a car, we have less control of that sense of movement. The movement is going very quickly in a very linear way. We also use our peripheral vision. When we're sensing vestibular input, it's also very closely linked with our visual processing. So if you think when you're travelling on a bus, when you're moving, that visual information's moving really quickly as well. So for some people who are trying to regulate their vestibular input, they're more than likely to prefer to walk out on the street where they can control that themselves, and the walking pace is a lot slower, which means that visual information is happening a lot slower as well. Proprioception, it could be when they're walking, they're seeking that feeling, that awareness of their body, so they're hyposensitive to body awareness. When you walk, you're really aware of where your body is, especially the lower half of your body. Some people you might see walking and marching with their arms, and that's because they really want to be aware of their whole body, because it really helps them to focus. Another thing might be relating to sound. So if you're travelling on a bus, buses, especially in cities, will have a tannoy, will have an announcement system saying what stop you're at, but also you have the other people, which is very unpredictable sounds. You have other noises around you. The windows might be open, the windows might be closed, and that really changes the way that something sounds within an enclosed environment like a bus. When you're walking along the street, you're more able to regulate that sound input. The sounds are less likely to be spontaneous. Yes, you still have people honking horns and you still have cars driving past, but the overall tannoy, the intense sound of someone telling you what stop you're at, can be quite alarming to some people who are hypersensitive to auditory information. Another reason can be relating to smell. So if you think when you're on a bus, you're in quite an enclosed environment and you've therefore got lots of people, lots of smells, it might be that the bus has been cleaned or hasn't been cleaned, and both of those things will create smells. People have smells. People might have bought things that smell. If you're walking on the street, yes, there's smells around you, but the natural environment is a lot more calming than synthetic environments. So by walking on the street, by walking in the open air, someone's able to control their sense of smell and the way that they process smells a lot more easier. It might be relating to tactile sensations. So again, when you're on a bus, you're not sure how busy the bus is going to be. You might be sitting next to someone, you might be really crammed into a small space, and if you're hypersensitive to touch and knowing people touching you around you, that can be an incredibly overwhelming feeling to be in. So it might be the anxiety of not knowing if the bus is going to be busy and if people are going to be standing near to you, or maybe if they brush past you. Let's not forget that light touch for some people can be incredibly painful. It can trigger fight and flight to initiate, which means that ultimately what that person is doing is primitively protecting their body. So it's really important, if someone is sensitive to light touch, that they try and control the opportunities that they have where they might experience that situation, i.e. busy environments, crowded areas are not going to be somewhere where they will enjoy to be. And the last reason might be relating to visual processing. So again, if we think about when we're travelling on a bus, the visual information, so everything that we're driving past that's passing us in the windows through our peripheral vision, but also when we turn and we look towards what's outside, it travels and it passes really quickly. For some people who are hypersensitive to visual information, that's going to be far too overwhelming. It's going to be lots more information in a very short space of time. So if someone's walking on the street, They're able to modulate, they're able to control the amount of visual information they take in. It might also be that their coping strategy is to wear their hood up. Maybe it's to wear a hat. All of those things are ways to be able to reduce that overload from visual information around them. So, those are some of the reasons why someone might prefer to walk to get a bus. As you can see, any of the sensory systems could be involved. So it's really important you're able to identify for the person that you support which sensory system is the most overriding to them, and then take that from this video and think, right, if they're hypersensitive to sound, maybe it's the fact that this bus is going to be a really noisy environment, or the overwhelming sound of the tannoy.